honorable ministers, high-ranking government officials, representatives of international organizations, development agencies, private sector and farmer organizations, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to express my sincere appreciation for the honor I have been given to deliver welcoming remarks at the African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit in this beautiful city of Nairobi, known for its stunning landscapes, vibrant culture, and diverse wildlife. On behalf of the AGRA Board and Management, and on my own behalf, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this historic summit, which creates an opportunity to explore a wide range of issues around African fertilizer and soil health and the implications of the agricultural, health and social well-being of the continent. My sincere gratitude to the President, government and people of Kenya to the warm reception and hospitality accorded to all delegations since their arrival. Excellency, Mr. President, allow me also to express my deep appreciations to the African Union Commission and to the government of Kenya for jointly hosting this important summit. At this juncture, I would like to thank my sister, Commissioner Sako, for her leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, this African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit has come at a critical moment. We as a continent are facing a myriad of challenges linked to unsustainable agriculture, including low agricultural productivity and human malnutrition, which is estimated to be impacting at least 20% of African population. It's my hope that the summits will drive the future of African food systems and catalyze sustainable agricultural productivity and food security in the continent, and I assure you that your contribution to the summit is paramount important. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, let me start by quoting a saying from the Kikuyu people of Kenya. I quote, "You must treat the earth well. It is not given to you by your parents. It is loaned to you by your children." End of the quote. According to the Kikuyu culture, each member of the family must take care of the earth, cultivate it, and make sure that the whole environment is taken care of. Excellencies, the first African Fertilizer Summit held in 2006 in Abuja, Nigeria, aimed to position fertilizer as a key ingredient to increase crop yields and address the associated challenges of food insecurity and poor incomes faced by smallholder farmers in Africa. The business as usual trajectory is obviously unsustainable. We showed only a slow incremental progress, and while the reality on the ground calls for an exponential results. The discourse has been changed from crop productivity and profitability focus to a broader set of goals and targets, such as sustainability, climate change adaptation and mitigation, rehabilitation and regeneration of degraded land and our soil, and restoration of environmental services, a mix of solutions than one jacket fits all kind of approach. The major challenge facing agri-food systems in Africa is how to exponentially increase crop productivity sustainably under rapidly increasing demographic pressure and changing climatic conditions while maintaining or enhancing the health of the soil resource base. Safeguarding the health of African soils is key. It's not just about enhancing food security, but also ensuring environmental sustainability. To illustrate this point, Ethiopia invested in sustainable land management program alongside our development partners, which spanned 209 districts in 6 regional states. This was instrumental in reducing land degradation, enhancing soil regeneration, boosting household resilience, increasing vegetation cover, and improving downstream water supplies. On average, total loss in the watershed was decreased by about 65%, and while the crop yield increased by 20%. The Ethiopian Soil Information System was also a major investment that gathered and analyzed soil samples from each of Ethiopia's 18,000 agricultural local village administrative units. Over 160,000 soil samples were catalogued, leading to the development of district-level fertilizer and fertility maps and fertilizer recommendations for each administrative village. Since 2008, my organization, AGRA, has supported numerous interventions to increase fertilizer use. Over 300,000 metric tons of fertilizer were delivered to smallholder farmers through AGRA's Agro-Dealer Development Program, and an additional 600,000 metric tons through a collaboration with the Africa Fertilizer Agribusiness Partnership. We see this as a drop in the ocean when compared even to the gap of 20 million metric tons required to reach the modest 50 kilogram per hectare target of 2006. Although Africa is now apparently a net exporter of mineral fertilizer, it has a very low uptake. Besides, the procurement, distribution, and subsidy programs are marred with bad governance in most cases. Encouragingly, however, first, there are innovations that can enhance the uptake and governance solutions to scale in Africa. One example is the Akilimo site-specific fertilizer recommendation portal, which has reached more than 400,000 cassava farmers in Nigeria and Tanzania through a network of over 200 scaling partners who operate in the field of aggregation, input supply, and credit and commodity processing. Another example, which is alluded by the President of His Excellency, the President of Kenya, is a digital innovative voucher systems alluded by just now. Second, there is ongoing research in Morocco for innovation on decentralized, low-cost green ammonia program with a capacity to reduce the cost of nitrogen fertilizer and its logistics. Your Excellency, the President, we can also produce green nitrogen in Africa, which is very conducive. The third, innovative policy prescriptions that address targeted subsidy programs based on the most used nutrients in the specific location than general subsidy to reduce the cost of subsidy. These are encouraging innovations, to mention a few, that can help us to depart from business as usual model. Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, ladies and gentlemen, we should commit ourselves in the loudest voice to do everything possible to make sure the African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit successfully catalyzes a transformation on the continent by mobilizing technical, political, and financial support for lasting change. Let us seize this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to soil health and agricultural sustainability in Africa. By working together and implementing the African Fertilizer and Soil Health Action Plan, we can build a future where every African has access to healthy and nutritious food, and our soils thrive to sustain the current and future generations. We still have a long way to go to depart from the old model, but in the spirit of open discussion and willing cooperation to solve mutual problems, this will be a significant summit to listen to the land and our soil. In closing, I welcome you once again to the African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit and wish you a successful deliberations. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And next I'll call upon His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, to make his remarks. Welcome, sir. We can give him a warm clap as he's approaching the stage. Asanteni sana.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency Dr. William Ruto, His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Kaswani, President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania and Chairperson of the African Union, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, His Excellency, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mr. Musa Faki Mohammed, Ambassador Joseph Sako, the African Union Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment, Development Partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be addressing you at this important summit, which is reflective of the importance that we attach to the soil as a vital resource to stimulate agricultural productivity, to guarantee food security and sovereignty across our beloved African continent. Regrettably, low fertilizer use and the poor soil health continue to undermine sustainable agricultural production and productivity, particularly among our communal and smallholder farmers. This is compounded by climate change, inadequate infrastructure and mechanization. Hence, the need to deliberately support and increase investments in agriculture, particularly for women and the youth, cannot be overemphasized. It is unfortunate that despite the inherent potential, Africa currently spends billions of dollars in food and fertilizer imports per year. Greater efforts must be made to leverage the availability of raw materials for the local production of mineral fertilizers and reduce our over-resilience and reliance on imports. Similarly, agriculture extension, communication and education programs should be strengthened with regards to scaling up fertilizer consumption to reach the target of 50 kg per hectare. The African Development Bank is commended for setting up a fertilizer fund aimed at boosting local production of fertilizers, as well as research, science, innovation, and technology development. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, Zimbabwe has not been spared from the adverse effects of climate change, with our sub-region currently experiencing an El Nino-induced drought. However, my government continues to implement the agricultural food systems and the rural transformation strategy, which, among other aspects, prioritizes improved policies, investment, finance, and markets for fertilizer and soil health management. Additionally, access to and affordability of organic fertilizers for sustainable soil management practices and interventions are being broadened. To date, Zimbabwe has made great strides in implementing a soil health-based improvement in production and productivity of crops and livestock. Village-specific information on soil health is now available through improved mobility and ICT gadgets. Through such interventions, which were also encouraged by the Climate Smart Pfumvudza in Twasa program, it's a Shona name, Zimbabwe realized food security and recorded surpluses in wheat over the last 3 consecutive years. My administration stands ready to broaden partnerships, synergies, and investments to enhance crop yields. Several opportunities exist for investors to set up new entities or partner with current local companies in Zimbabwe through either upgrading existing or introducing new technology to scale up fertilizer production in our country. Excellencies, distinguished guests, Zimbabwe endorses the Nairobi Declaration, Soil Initiative for Africa Framework, and the Africa Fertilizer Soil Health 10-year Action Plan. It is, however, critically important for us to invest in strategic institutions mandated to provide the requisite leadership and mechanisms to meet our desired goals on the continent. As host to the African Center for Fertilizer Development, Zimbabwe knows that the center remains a critical cog in promoting research on soil health and fertilizer development. We thus welcome the commitment to fully operationalize and support this Africa Center for Fertilizer Development, which was the brainchild of our august body and whose strategic mandate is aligned with the agenda of this summit. In concluding, may I express my gratitude to the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, for warmly receiving us. I also convey our heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of Kenya for the loss of lives due to the climate change-induced devastating floods. Our prayers and sympathies are with you, my dear brother, during this difficult time. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Next, I would like to invite His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia. Why don't we welcome him with a warm clap, sir? Sir, you can use this side. This is closer to you. Welcome, sir. Sorry about that. Welcome.
Thank you very much, moderator. Let me recognize President Ruto, our host. Thank you for the good message.